I've often wondered how people get drawn to cult leaders, how they get taken in by them, and how they trust them implicitly. People like Jim Jones, where people actually believed him and ended up killing themselves because that's what he told them to do. People like David Koresh out of Waco, you remember that one? Charles Manson. These people are nutcases. But yet, people are drawn into them. I just never understood that. I think, though, that there are a certain type of people who are susceptible to being drawn in by people. I know not everybody who gets drawn in and brainwashed are stupid. Some are. And I'm speaking honestly right now. I'm not being derogatory. I'm being very matter of fact and trying to present this logically. But I think that there is a certain intelligence level that a person can reach where they can't be brainwashed. Now, I'm not bragging on myself, but I can guarantee you I could never be brainwashed. It's just like there are certain people who are susceptible to hypnotism. Whereas there are people like me who can't be hypnotized. I've even tried it one time when I was going to this one doctor when I was having severe back problems and was considering surgery. I actually was working with him and he was trying to hypnotize me. And I was fully cooperating with him. I wanted him to be able to do it. Just couldn't. I'm one of those people that even when I relax and try to let somebody hypnotize me, it can't happen. It just doesn't happen. But yet some people are very susceptible to hypnotism. Why is that? I don't know, other than just you need to settle down. Yes, you do. Copper's like looking at me. He wants to get him. Oh, where was I? Anyway, I just think that there are certain personality types. Maybe it's their personality, their temperament. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But there are people who are easy to brainwash, easy to hypnotize, and are gullible. Some of the stories that I saw Ellie put on her videos and others that she told me, where people are coming after her, where somebody actually killed one of her chickens, I think it was. How in the world can people be fooled by a psychopath? Because I fully believe that's what Hollie is. She's a psychopath and a pathological liar. And one of the things that you people need to be aware of, especially those of you who defend them and support them, everything they do is a lie. We saw that on the video yesterday where they tried to convince their followers that their house was haunted, when in fact it was all an act. And the truth is, other than their dumpster diving. It's all one big act. That's all it is. But yet you have people who, for whatever reason, I just don't see how you've got two people who are of such low character, who have displayed on camera their character. You've seen them break into places. You've seen them steal things. You people must have absolutely no morals if you still support them. You must be total pieces of trash. And I'm being honest here, because anybody who would defend their actions, their illegal actions, has got to be nothing but trash. And you are as low class, and be just like them, have no morals, because they have none. Hollie has admitted that she worships Satan. She's admitted that. And the only reason that she comes on camera talking about Jesus and talking about God is because there are Christian people who donate to them, and she wants to relate to them. And she only does it for money. She only does it for gifts. Everything that Hollie does, she does for herself. She didn't do it for Chris. She doesn't do it for Elion. She does it for herself, because she is totally self-absorbed, self-centered, narcissistic. And so she will lie, make up stories, go after people, fabricate stories about people. She will do anything she can to make sure that the money still flows. And you people need to understand that. Everything that they do is an act. Now, we've been saying for a long time, a lot of us have been saying for a long time, that they're not living on that land. Do you realize how many times CPS in that area has been called? A lot. CPS has been called numerous times. And then we complain because they haven't done anything. So what we've been saying for the longest time is that the only reason CPS isn't doing anything is because they must be living in an actual dwelling and not on the land. Because there is no way that CPS, well, in most areas anyway, who knows back there, but my experience with them is there's no way that they would allow a child to exist in those conditions. And we've been saying that there's absolutely no way they're living on that land. Well, actually they are, but they're not living in the woods. Like somebody said in one of the comments, their trailer, you could see in their camera shots before someone gave them the RV. And now the RV is blocking the view of the trailer. And somebody said, well, no, they're living in the RV. No, they're not. The RV was donated to them because they gave the perception that they were living out amongst the trees, when in fact they were not. Someone says, well, how did they get the RV then? Well, you don't think they could put on an act long enough to make the people who donated the RV think that they were living out there? You see, it's all been an act. In fact, they didn't do anything for the longest time. And the only reason that Chris started building that rat trap of a poor excuse for a garden shed, in fact, you could have got one a lot cheaper from Home Depot and put it there, a prefab one. But the only reason that he started doing that was because we were getting all over him. I was calling him out, if you recall. They hadn't done the damn thing. And I started calling them out. Other people started calling them out and said, where's the home that all these people gave you money for? Which they blew. They had plenty of money to buy a home, and they took that money and went on a summer-long vacation spree, staying in the best hotels, eating at the best restaurants, blowing all their money. And you people let them get away with it. How stupid. I just don't see how people can be so brainwashed that they wouldn't hold them accountable for that. It's the same thing that Jeff did. Jeff got over $10,000 donated to hire a PI, and he spent it on himself. He spent it on his toys and on drugs. And people didn't hold him accountable. I don't understand that. There are got to be the dumbest people I've ever seen on here. I mean, I know there are people that stupid in real life, but they seem to congregate on here, especially around scammers. Yeah, oh yeah. They come on there begging for food. Meanwhile, Chris has who knows how much money invested. He's got 9 guns, rifles, and those things aren't cheap, people. And ammunition, that's not cheap. What's he going to do? Is this going to be another, what was the thing in Montana where they ended up raiding that guy's place? I can't think what it was called. Not Ruby Ridge, or was it? I don't remember. It's been too long ago. Is it going to be another one of those situations? Especially when you see how anti-government he is, how anti-law enforcement he is. And by the way, that post on Facebook, I'm going to forward that to ATF. Because when you see somebody stockpiling guns like that, they don't take kindly to that at all. So you can expect a visit, Chris. But people, here's another thing too. They do not want you to know how much money they have coming in. They have so much more money coming in than any of you people suspect. Oh, we don't have money for food. We don't have money for this, but they always have money for cigarettes and beer. And guns and ammunition. Now, how can you people be so gullible? And a lot of you are just plain stupid. You really are. There's no way around it. I mean, you got to look at the evidence. You're an idiot. They're idiots. They've got the money to buy all these firearms. They've got the money to buy all this ammunition, but they don't have money for food. Give me a break. And then some of you are just plain fools. You really are. You're fools. If you send them anything, you're a fool. Plain and simple. No, the fact is, they're living in a dwelling. In fact, if you look in the aerial shot of the property, it's right there, right on their property. I saw that the first time I looked at an aerial shot on Google Maps. It's right there. And like I say before, you could see it in the background until that RV was parked there and blocking the view. Yeah, they're not living in the RV, and they're not living in the woods, and they're not pooping in a bucket. See, everything that they're using, it's just like in any production where you're acting, you use props. And like I said, Chris wasn't doing anything till we started calling him out. Oh, then he starts building this piece of crap that is ridiculous. And then he even gets people to, but the thing is, see, they say that somebody sent him this, somebody sent him that. But the reason that a lot of times they buy stuff themselves and they say people send it to them because, number one, like I said, they don't want you to know how much money they're actually bringing in. Or obviously, they got enough money to buy all these guns and ammo. Yeah. People, it's an act. Just like the haunted house. It's an act. They've been lying to you. They've been scamming you. And you people, just like these people that follow Jim Jones and David Koresh and Charles Manson, you people are no different. You people who went after Ellie and Terry outside their house yelling at them, you're showing your level of intelligence, which is right there. Anybody that, with Hollie's background, and I guess maybe some of you are sovereign citizens yourself, which shows you that you're fools. Because those got to be the dumbest people I ever run across. Nothing worse than somebody who is completely stupid, has the intelligence of a snow pea, and thinks they're smart. And Chris and Hollie are exactly that. Dumber than a brick, but they think they're smart. But I just don't see how people can be taken in by these scammers. I really don't. But, and somebody said, well, no, there's houses in that area. Yes, there is houses in the area, but not back where they live. And the person I'm talking about was given their address, is not talking out by the road where there are houses. Okay, so let's get that straight. She's not talking about the entire area. She's talking about the immediate area where they live. And she says she knows the areas, been there all her life. She says nobody's living in the woods there. Like we said before, that's where they do their filming. It's a production. It's an act. Like somebody else said in the comments, which I agree, they don't have any content anymore. The only content they have is ragging on me or somebody else. And that's why their views start going down, so they start going after people. They had no reason to start going after Ellie again. None. She hadn't even been on YouTube. She quit doing it, she said, because it was no longer fun. They had no reason to go after her. The only reason they did is because Hollie knows it generates views. Because their views have gone way down. Because they don't have any content anymore. They get on there and act like fools. They get on there, get drunk. And by the way, it is illegal. I checked the laws in Virginia. And I'm going to forward that video, which I've already screen recorded, so you can take it down all you want, Chris. I'm going to forward that to law enforcement. Out there drinking, shooting guns. It's illegal, people. If you're drinking, you're not supposed to have a firearm anywhere around you. That's the law. And especially with that, you realize that could be considered, and probably is, child endangerment. Out there drinking, shooting off guns, and then letting him shoot them at 6 years old. Yeah, all that's going to be forwarded to law enforcement, along with your address. So you can expect another visit. So people, If you want to keep supporting them, that just shows how stupid and gullible you really are. Because they are scamming you. They've got all kinds of money coming in. Plus, you got idiots sending them stuff. However, like I said, sometimes, in fact, there's been many times that Hollie's gotten a lot of boxes, put stuff in it, and then said, "Oh, look what people sent us." Meanwhile, she's got an Amazon box sitting there with duct tape on it. No. Amazon does not ship packages with duct taped. See, it just shows you Hollie's not nearly as smart as she thinks she is. She thinks people won't notice stuff like that. So yeah, people, they're not living in the woods. They're living in a trailer and not the RV. You ever notice that one video they took of them being in the RV? They're in there and there's Elion sitting there and he pulls this, I guess it was like a blow-up bed or something like that out from under the couch or whatever it was. Oh, look what I found. What does that show you? That shows you that they hadn't been living in it. Because there's no way in hell, if they'd been living in that all of a sudden Elion would discover that. The way kids crawl around, get into everything, especially him, he'd have found that long before that. So that proved to me right there. And it wasn't messy enough. It was messy, but not messy enough. It would have been a lot more messy if they'd been living there. Because we know how they trash every place they live. I'd hate to see the trailer. However, they might not trash it since it's theirs and not somebody else's. Because it seems to be only other people's property that they don't respect and that they tear up. But they're tearing up their own land. You've got a nice piece of property out there, and they're cutting down trees, doing all this stuff. And the only reason that he is doing it is because he was called out so much. And so they realize, okay, we can't let people know we're living in a trailer. We can't let people know that we actually have a place to live with a toilet and running water and a kitchen. No, we can't let people know that because then people would say, oh, okay, we don't need to send them any more money. Plus, Chris could get his ass back to work where he should be. And you people, you condone, I just don't understand you people who support them and condone laziness. I really don't. They're not doing anything to earn anything. They're not even putting out decent content anymore. That's why Chris has done so much stuff on his Dang Right channel. Because they've run out of things to make videos about. That's the truth, people. They're not living in the woods. As we have been saying. And that's why CPS hasn't taken Elion away yet. Because of the fact they actually have a place to live. And, by the way, like this lady said, they wouldn't be allowed to live in the woods. They'd have been run out of there already. I mean, the county would have come in and said, you either put a dwelling in here with the septic, water, and everything else, or get off the land. You can't camp. There's only certain places that you can camp on your own property. That's like the piece of property that I got down in Arizona. There's only one county, or actually there's two counties, I believe, where you can actually camp on your own property. However, even if you're there for over 30 days, you have to put in a septic system. See, most places, you can't camp on your property. And even, like I say, even when you can't be there longer than 30 days. So yes, if they were actually staying on that property, they would have already been given an ultimatum by the county. So people, they're fooling you. It's an act. They're lying to you. They are not living in the woods. They simply go onto their property to make videos and to make you think they're doing something, so you will keep sending them money. Hollie's a scammer. Hollie's a liar. It's just like I said, it's just like the ghost video or the haunted house video, whatever you want to call it. It's all a big act. Plus, do you realize how many burglaries that they've committed? Many of which they put on video. Unbelievable. You condone burglars, thieves, people, that just says that your character is extremely flawed if you support that. That you're criminals just like them. Even if you're not a criminal, you're complicit. If you condone what they do, you're lowlife. Absolute lowlife. If you condone stealing, breaking into places. A lot of those videos, in fact, most of them, Hollie's taken down. And by the way, how many videos have I deleted? How many parts of videos have I edited out? Not one. Why? Because I'm honest. Hollie is constantly editing everything out that puts them in a bad light as soon as somebody brings it up. She goes and edits it out. What does that say? It says, number one, she isn't honest. Number two, it says she's a chicken shit. Number three, she's scamming you. Yeah, you don't have to edit things. When you're honest and you're doing right, you don't have to edit anything out. But when you're a scammer, when you're a liar, when you're a deceiver, and dumber than a brick, you edit things out as soon as people bring them up. Or you hide it. You run and hide. Because, Hollie, you are dishonest. Because, Hollie, you are a liar. Because, Hollie, you are a deceiver. And you know that I am correct when I say it's all a big act. It's all one big act. People, they do not live in the woods. They're lying to you. If you want to keep supporting that, that's up to you. But it shows to me that you're one of those people that would be taken in by a cult leader, because so many of you have been brainwashed by a psychopath, by a liar. Why anybody? I mean, I just don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, these people, to me, they make me cringe. That's why I don't like watching their videos. They just make me cringe, and Hollie's voice is like on the chalkboard. I just don't. Oh, God, I'd have to duct tape her mouth shut. I would. Like I said one time, I'd have her wrapped up like the mummy. Couldn't stand listening to her voice. Ugh. She just, I mean, her whole demeanor. It's like a couple of people have said, actually more than a couple, have said they just act demonic. I agree. People have talked about how when Hollie gets mad, her eyes turn completely black. Think about it. Think about it. Oh, man. Anyway, people, I don't know what else is going to convince you. I've been totally honest about everything. I've presented court documents. I've presented proof from their own videos of what they're all about. And if you can't see it, all I can say is you're completely hopeless.